welcome back again to a little Austin Sports Weekend with Austin, the man here himself. Again, we are down to the last few weeks of NFL football. Football season is passing by so quick.
Yes.
So
the McRib is actually feels like it's there in McDonald's longer than football is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's gone and gone. The McRib, sadly, is gone too. But anyway, before we get started out too much here, thanks again for SevereTV.com for setting us up here in studio. Thanks again for Autographs Plus for sponsoring us. Got a couple cool helmets. Got a little Patrick Mahomes here, a little Tom Brady over there. The two of the last big quarterbacks that we've had going here. So be sure, and Christmas is coming up. Be sure and check out the Autographs Plus there.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas coming up. But let's go ahead and jump in. We need to recap Week 14 first. We had a really good Thursday night game. All of a sudden, Thursday night games have gotten good.
Oh, you got to have Amazon.
Yeah, you got to have Amazon to see. You got to have Amazon to see the Packers go to the Lions. That was really a good game. Back and forth. One would take the lead. Packers would take the lead. Fantastic. The Lions just proved to be a little bit better at the end.
And the Lions are 12-1. When have you seen the Lions like this?
Last year was the only good year they were besides this year in a long time. I don't remember, when Barry Sanders was there, they were a pretty good team. They never won anything. I think this is the best Lions team we may have ever seen. Never.
Not to say I'm pretty happy seeing the Lions win like this.
I like seeing the underdogs, the teams that have never done it, never been there, and the Lions have never won.
The never went to the Super Bowl, let alone
won it. so you gotta be happy for them. You gotta be what is this? The country would love to see Buffalo, Detroit,
because neither team has won the Super Bowl.
Neither team has ever won the Super Bowl.
But somehow if Roger wants Kansas City and Philly, then he's gonna get Kansas City, Philly.
We'll probably end up with Kansas City, Philly, even though everybody wants Detroit, Green Bay.
Give the people what they want.
Yes. We'll go ahead and jump into the Sunday games. We had your Panthers at the Eagles, and your team is getting better, man. They lost 22-16.
Thank you for saying that.
But
Thank you for saying that they lost.
I mean,
but we are getting better. I'm not going to lie. We are getting better, but now it's a new habit. Instead of getting blown out and like we had earlier,
barely losing
each game
to good teams. I mean, you should have beat Kansas City. Could have beat Kansas City. Lost on a fumble. Only lost to Philly by 6 points in Philly.
There is promise. I'm not going to lie. Although my wormhole's got a few extra things out.
Yeah.
Although I may have to pass the shovel over to you again. Go ahead and take it.
The Cowboy, I've got a condo going on. I've built a condo down in my misery. I think the Carolina sounds the best 3-10 team in the NFL. I mean, they're 3-10. The good thing about that is they are good, and they're going to get a good draft pick. They still should end up with a top 10 draft pick.
I want to help the defense out.
Bring in a good linebacker, defensive end. I wouldn't pass up on the best offensive lineman if he's still out there,
because I think that would help.
That always helps. Offensive lineman, defensive lineman. But they lost, but it's definitely looking up for you. We had the Saints, Giants. Somebody had to win, somebody had to lose.
And the Giants definitely lost it.
Yeah.
Got a 31-yard field goal blocked at the end of the game.
31 yards. How can you lose?
Only the Giants.
Only the Giants.
Brian Daboll has completely lost this team.
I think so, yeah.
He's completely lost this team.
He's struggling with this right now, yeah.
And in the box score, if I want to continue my Jalen Hyatt joke, he did get 2 targets, but they missed them both times.
Yeah.
So technically, it's 0.
Yeah, he got 0 catches. We'll do it that way. How many catches did he get?
0 catches for 0 yards. How many times have I said that this year, where they misused their wide receivers?
How many times last year did they win when he got 100 yards receiving?
Plenty.
Every time. I don't know. We had the Brown Steelers, and again, the Steelers, 27-14.
They're creeping up on a top seed here.
They are. The Steelers are sneakily one of the best teams in the
Remember when people said Russell Wilson was washed? when we said Hackett was the issue.
Hackett was the reason Russell Wilson looked bad in Denver. Hackett is one of, if not the worst offensive mind coordinator.
See what happened to him in the Jets.
Country. He's moved to the Jets, and all of a sudden the Jets have a worse record this year than they did last year with Wilson as a quarterback. It's terrible.
But
coordinators make a difference. Coordinators and coaches make a huge, huge difference.
You can have all the star power you want,
but if you don't put them in good situations to win, they're not going to win. So,
but Jameis Winston is once again a turnover and touchdown thrower. That's just who he is.
He's fantastic. I still love Jameis Winston. I do love Jameis Winston. He is so fun. We had the Falcons at the Vikings, and
getting the crap beat out of them.
The downward spiral continues, 42-21. Double up at number.
Just getting the crap beat out of them. Sam Darnold threw for 380 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Nobody should give up. I ain't putting Sam Darnold down, but you don't give up 380 yards.
He looked like Peyton Manning out there. How do you make Sam Darnold look like Peyton Manning?
I think the Falcons have finally hit Leo bottom if they wasn't already at the bottom.
They're on a 4-game losing streak, and Kirk Cousins
maybe on the bench. There's some bad stuff. There's some bad juju going.
He's leading the NFL in interceptions with 15 right now.
People are saying it may be time to sit him down and see what other quarterback we got. See if Penix is worth keeping, or if you need to draft a quarterback this year. And honestly, I'm just about to that point too. We had the Raiders, Bucks. Raiders are still struggling after
the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield is still tossing it around the yard, isn't he?
Now, what position are they in their conference now?
They are number one in the NFC South with a 7-6 record.
With Falcons losing again and the Bucks winning again, the Bucks take over first place. So
Baker Mayfield having another good season under Tampa with a 28 touchdown, 13 interception ratio. Might want to cut down on the turnovers a little bit.
And I don't think their head coach is the best offensive mind in the league. I think he's a fantastic defensive line. So I think they're overachieving a little bit on the offense too.
Well, you have Mike Evans to throw the ball to and Chris Godwin to throw the ball to, and a decent running game.
That doesn't hurt. Jaguars, Titans, at the Titans.
This was a literal definition of someone had to win, someone had to lose.
10-6 with a backup quarterback. Who was the quarterback for the Jaguars?
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones? Oh, you mean the ex-Patriot Mac Jones?
And the Titans only scored 6 points.
He went in and beat the Titans at Tennessee. Tennessee and the Giants are battling on who's the worst team this year.
I've heard that
the Raiders.
I've heard that the Tennessee Titans are going to try to look at a serious overhaul of their coaching staff, which I would not be opposed to at the moment.
No. Jets, Dolphins. This was an exciting one. Went into overtime.
This is for you, Big Al. I really hate seeing your team like this.
I really thought the Jets were going to win.
I really hate seeing his team like this because I know why they lost. That their defense was pretty bad.
Their defense was pretty bad. Their offense looked a little bit better. Of course, the Dolphins don't have the best defense in the league this year either.
But I'm pretty sure Todd and Hackett had something to do with this.
Yeah. I still think those two are terrible coordinators.
Those two as coordinators. I'm not going to say anything against them as people because that's not who I am, but coordinators.
They're not the best coordinators in the league. Let's just put it that way. They struggle. Seahawks, Cardinals.
Seahawks take full advantage of their division. They have a 2-game lead in their division.
I really thought the Cardinals might do something here.
But
the Seahawks are flexing at the right time. I mean, if
they get a home playoff game in that stadium.
If you're going to start winning, now's the time to do it.
Seattle, in that stadium, they can get a home playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a little intimidating.
Yeah, probably my most disappointing game of the week was the Bills at the Rams. How can you give up 44 points to the Rams?
Josh Allen had a monster day.
He
had
did.
3 rushing touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns on his own.
He set a record with having 6 touchdowns and lost.
Because Puka Nacua had a better day.
Because Puka Nacua
was uncoverable.
He's like, I don't know if he's a fairy or an angel or what he is, but he can catch the ball
and do wonderful things.
Tap his feet where he's Mr. Fantastic, stretches his legs down an extra 6 inches to where they shouldn't be there. I don't know what he does.
What a
but-
draft pick he was for the Rams. I didn't think he would be, but he's proven me
No.
2 years he's been a great receiver.
He's a great receiver. So congrats to the Rams. The Rams need it too because they
They need to win to get more playoff leverage.
They have struggled. Yeah, we had the Bears at the 49ers. Oh my. 13-38.
This is an injury-riddled Niner team.
Yeah,
this
this-
isn't a healthy team,
Now this Niners team is in bad shape physically.
and they still kill the
By
Bears.
25 points.
A healthy Bears team.
A healthy Bears team.
That shows you how bad the sewage in that organization has come to at this point. You can't blame the coach because he's gone.
Yeah.
You got to point at the GM and everybody at ownership.
Uh-huh.
That's where you got to point to.
You know, this is almost like the Bears have been bad for a long time.
They chose. I mean, this organization chose Matt Nagy to be a head coach.
He's not. No.
And do you know how Matt Nagy's doing on the Chiefs? Oh, he's got a Super Bowl, but his offenses have been very mid at best.
Now we'll talk about them here actually next. Chargers at the Chiefs.
Horseshoe.
Another last second
Horseshoe.
field goal.
This
The-
field goal, it was special this time. It was off of the crossbar, left crossbar, through the uprights.
To win.
They have a horseshoe in their pockets.
They
They
are-
need to be investigated.
They are the worst,
They're the
best
lucky.
record team that I've seen in quite some time. But they win. Patrick Mahomes finds some way to magically dance and throw a pass behind his back with both eyes closed to a receiver that's not open, but he catches it. And they kick a field goal. And they win.
And it's
their
just a horseshoe.
It's their second Sunday night game that they've won on a last second field goal this year.
That's a horseshoe in the back pocket. They need to go to security, check Mahomes' pockets, and see if he's got a horseshoe in there.
Will this luck last?
It didn't
It
with some
has-
of the other teams,
I
but
don't know. Monday night, my poor Cowboys.
ran by Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah, Emperor Palpatine, Jerry Jones, the Emperor Palpatine of the NFL right now. Good.
He's more like Mr. Burns now because
Yeah.
his team is falling apart.
Yeah, they lost 27-20, and let me tell you how good of a year Joe Burrow's having. Here.
Joe Burrow's just having a phenomenal season.
You know, the reason they're not looking at him the same way they're looking at Josh Allen is because they don't have the winning record right now. If the Cincinnati had the winning record right now, Joe Burrow is having
MVP season.
and MVP season. Joe Burrow right now has 3,706 passing yards,
The most in the league.
33 passing TDs.
Most in the league.
He's passing for 285.1 yards per game.
Number one in the league.
Now let's talk about Jamar Chase, the person he's thrown through these two. Jamar Chase has 1,319 receiving yards,
First in the league.
15 receiving TDs,
First in the league.
and 93 catches.
First in the league.
And they're 5-8.
I feel bad for our producer in the back because he's a diehard Bengal fan, and just pointing out that fact probably just made him cringe a little.
the offense is so good.
The offense is so crisp, but the defense is bargain bin at the moment.
Yeah. When you score 35 points a game and you lose, it's a sad thing.
Yep.
But it's actually good for the future. I mean, they're 5-8 right now. They got a chance to make the playoffs. They can go on a run, get to 9-8, and if it falls right, they can still maybe make the playoffs. And if they do get on that 4-game skid, I wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs.
Because of Joe Burrow and
Because
how
of
well
Joe-
he's playing.
Yeah. So, but it's an outside chance now. You have to have a 9-8 team get into the playoffs. But it's stranger things has happened. We've had a 7-9 team get into the playoffs before. So we'll just have to wait and see. We'll go ahead and jump into our picks for next week, week 15. Thursday night, we got the Rams 49ers.
Do you want to pick San Fran or do you want to pick the Rams?
Gosh. San Fran's favored by 3. The Rams are, they came off a blistering good game offensively, though. What do you think? Do you think it's the 49ers with their injuries, or do you think it's the Rams?
I think my gut's saying San Francisco right now.
Your gut says I'm almost leaning towards the Rams a little bit. This is one of those toss-ups. It's a 3-point line, which means on a neutral field it's a pick 'em. So I I would stay away from that a little bit because we got a split decision here going on with that one.
Speaking of split decision, our wormholes are going to cross with each other here because the
The
Cowboys play the Panthers.
Are at the Panthers, and the Panthers are favored.
The Panthers are favored in a game for the first time
This
in
year.
2 years, 2 seasons.
The Panthers are favored by 3 points. Take Carolina. They have the last 3 games. They have actually looked really, really good, and the Cowboys lost their second best tackler to a season-ending injury. So they're down even more than what they was down before this week. So
you think
Panthers
your
and
wormhole is
run.
going to get deeper than mine
Yes.
wormhole? Even though our wormholes are going to cross, we're going to interject. We're going to
Yeah.
have to make a little
At the beginning of the season, what did I tell you the Cowboys' record would be at the end of the year?
7-10.
They're 5-8 right now. If they go 2-2 to finish out the season,
You'll be mad at Jerry Jones.
they'll be 7-10.
So it's the same thing.
Same thing. As a lifelong Cowboys fan, I know my Cowboys.
And you know Jerry
They're
Boy.
a 7-10 team.
And you know Jerry Boy.
Yep. He's going to run it. He's going to run that Lamborghini into the ditch.
This is a guaranteed win upcoming.
Ravens, Giants. I don't know if you could put a spread big enough for that one.
Pick Baltimore and whatever line they produce.
This is maybe one of the biggest lines I've ever seen. 16 points.
I'll take it
And NFL, I probably would too.
because it's wild, but I'll take it.
We got the Jets, Jaguars. Jets are favored by 3.5.
Jets. Jets.
I'll probably take the Jets on that one too. We got the Commanders, Saints.
Give me the Commanders.
I got the Commanders as this
Maybe
one, too.
future Redskins.
I hope they bring their. I hope they get their logo back. Bengals, Titans. Oh, Bengals by 50. The line's actually only 5.5. I think that's maybe the lock of the week. This could be a 38-13 game. It could be 20 points. And you think I'm exaggerating? No, this could be a 20-point win. Chiefs, Browns.
Well, it's my team faced Kansas City earlier in the season. Now it's my sister's turn to see Kansas City.
You want to know how bad Kansas City actually is? As a 12-1 team playing a 3-10 team, they're only favored by 4.5.
I'm not taking that line because they barely win by 3 points every game.
If it may come down to a field goal, I'm terrified of that game. But the Browns may end up being the one that finally beats them. I don't know.
That would be pretty funny, though.
That would be pretty funny. Got the Dolphins. And what if Jameis Winston has a career game? that would be hard. Got the Dolphins, Texans. This should actually be a good game.
Yeah, this is a significant one, too.
Divisional. Late in the year.
It's not quite divisional, but it is wild card.
It's wild card play. That's what I'm saying. Because right now the Texans have a 2-game lead in the wild card over the Dolphins. So if Texans wins, the Dolphins are going to be in tough shape. This may be putting them out of the playoffs.
I'm going to pick Houston here.
We're already to that point to where teams are probably going to get started to get knocked out of the playoffs.
I might pick Houston.
I probably will too. We got the Colts, Broncos.
Give me Denver here. They've been playing decent lately.
I am too. And again, if the Colts lose, this is their 8th loss. They're probably out of the playoffs. So it's time for some teams that are probably going to be
to win some games
they
don't need to.
It's time to win to get in. The playoffs are almost starting now for some teams. We got the Patriots, Cardinals.
This is a Cardinals playoff game.
The Cardinals got to win this one. They can't lose 2 in a row at home.
They can't lose to the Patriots at home
No.
when they want to make a playoff
The
spot.
line's 6, and I'm actually good with that one. The game of the week is actually not a Sunday night game or a Monday night game.
And it's the game that we mentioned beforehand.
Bills Lions. How's that for a game? That would be my Super Bowl.
And they're playing in the regular season.
At Detroit.
You want to pick the Lions because do you want to pick the Lions here or do you want to pick Buffalo here?
I struggle with this one, but Buffalo's coming off of a loss, but they are in Detroit.
That's why the Lions are favored by 2.5,
2.5.
and I think that should be good enough for
I
me.
would probably take the Lions since they're at home. We got the another fantastic game, Buccaneers, Chargers.
This is a big game for both teams.
Both these teams need this win. The
Yep.
Bucs lead their division. That's a little salvation for them. The Chargers do not. They
They
need
need to win.
They to stay in the playoffs there. And I would probably take the Chargers since they're at home. The line's
And Jim
3.
Harbaugh loves bully ball.
How about this for this Sunday, for another Sunday evening game that's not the late game? Steelers at the Eagles.
We got some decent games
Yeah,
this
some
week.
decent games this week, yeah.
Yeah, 2 10-win teams.
The Steelers are favored by 5.5. That's too much. I mean,
The Eagles are-
the Eagles are favored by 5.5.
That's too much.
That's too much.
This is Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh we're talking about.
Yeah.
This isn't
And
the,
struggling passing game. I mean, they've won 9 in a row. Don't get me wrong.
but there's a little beef bubbling up
There's
in
a
there.
little beef between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. They only threw for a little over 100 yards last week, even with the win. You've got Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Why are you only throwing for 100 yards, Kellen Moore? I don't know. But
That's pretty obvious.
It's
They
pretty
can just
obvious that
point-
it's Kellen Moore. He's a bad offensive coordinator. But I mean, even though there's a little bit of internal struggle there. So I don't know if the Steelers are going to win, but I'm going to take Steelers plus 5.5. Though we got this is disappointing. The Sunday night game is Packers Seahawks. Although it is a better game now that the Seahawks are in fuego. They're on fire a little bit, and they're
at home.
They're at Seattle.
That might give them an edge, but I think I might take the Packers.
I would probably take the Packers too. The Packers are playing a little bit better ball now. Green Bay's minus 2.5. I think I'm pretty good with that.
We got two
Monday night games. Both of them nobody really cares about,
except for Falcon fans.
except for Falcons fans and Bears fans. We got the Bears at the Vikings. The Vikings should win this one pretty easy. The Bears are in a complete and utter downfall. We got the Falcons Raiders. I think they put this on Monday at 8:30 just to get it out of the way.
Yeah, and the Falcons will win this game. That'll end their skid.
The Falcons should win this game because the Raiders are struggling pretty good. And the Raiders are actually looking at the number 1 draft pick right now. So I don't know if I'd want to win too much right now. And of course, how many teams have took themselves out of the first draft pick by winning a game? A lot.
Absolutely a lot.
Absolutely a lot. So that's it for the NFL this week. We hope you had a little fun with us. Thanks again for SevereTV.com for setting us up here. Thanks again for Autographs Plus for sponsoring us. Be sure to check them out for some Christmas. But next week is week 16.
Approaching the end.
Approaching the end. So be sure and check us out.
See you next week.